السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعين وتابعيهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, today it is Tuesday the 26th of Sha'ban 1443, and this matches the 29th of March 2022. We are still doing our book Elixir or the Elixir, the summary or the digest of the book Madaarij as-Salikeen by Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, which is a book on the actions of the heart. This is our 71st session going through this book. Yesterday we finished the station of al-Ithar, or preferring others over oneself. Today it is Manzilatul Khuluq, the station of character. قال الله تعالى لنبيه صلى الله عليه وسلم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to his prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام, Surah Al-Qalam, ayah number 4, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. And you are surely, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you are surely upon a great character. You are upon a great character. والمعنى, the meaning of this, إنك لعلى الخلق الذي آثرك الله به في القرآن. You are upon the character that Allah Azza wa Jal preferred you with, He gave you, He bestowed upon you as a gift in the Quran. Right? And from the explanations, they say خلق عظيم يعني دين عظيم. You are upon a great character, meaning upon a great deen, a great religion. You know, you are in your behavior, as will come inshallah ta'ala. It's the famous statement of Aisha radiallahu anha when she was asked about him alayhi salatu wassalam, how he was. She said, كان خلقه القرآن. His character was the Quran. So the person who asked her, he said within himself, as the narration goes, that he was about not to ask her any question after that, because he put in time and effort to go and ask Aisha radiallahu anha. He had to go and beg someone who knows her that he will take him to her, right? And then after he went and asked her, she said this, because she knew he was a man of Quran. So she said, don't you know the Quran? He said, yes. So she said, Allah said this about him. So his character was the Quran. So he said, I was about not to ask any more questions after this, because he said, within himself, Allah knows best. It means he would just check the whole Quran and he will know how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was. Then he changed his mind and asked her more about how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam prayed Salatul Witr. And she gave him more information about witr and the night prayer. And then he went back to Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, and he narrated to him what she told him. So he told him sadaqat. The beginning, they asked Abdullah ibn Abbas. He asked Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. So he said the best to ask is Aisha. Go to Aisha and ask her, because she knows most. So she went, he told him, go ask her and then come and tell me what she says. So he did. Then he went back to Ibn Abbas and told him, he said, she told the truth. Right? Then he said, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he said, were it not for the fact that I don't go visit, maybe there were some issues, I would have gone to her myself and heard this information directly from her. Right? So the man, he said, had I known that you are not going to Aisha, I wouldn't have told you anything. Like I would have made you go and ask yourself. Right? Alhamdulillah. But look, even if there are things, right, something that made him not go to her, he still testified, the best to tell you about this, go and ask Aisha radiallahu anha. Right? So deen is deen. You do not play with your deen. right? You agree, you disagree, there were some issues, maybe it doesn't matter. Fulan is knowledgeable, he becomes knowledgeable. Unlike some people, yani today he's good friends with you, he's the best one. He is this, he is that. You have an issue with him. I have never seen anyone worse than him in my life. Yani, yeah, this type of a thing yeah, it shows that someone is not balanced, right? Because if you know that someone has information, how come this information, what happened to it? It evaporated overnight after you had some issues with him? It doesn't work like that, right? طيب, so let's go back to our topic. He said, وَقَدْ جَمَعَ اللَّهُ لَهُ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gathered together the noble manners for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He put them together for him في قوله تعالى, in his statement subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is Surah Al-A'raf, ayah 199. The scholars say that this ayah has the foundations of good character. One ayah has, of course, there's more than one ayah, but then this one has the foundations of good character. It says, خذ العفو وأمر بالعرف وأعرض عن الجاهلين. خذ العفو. خذ العفو has two meanings. Either be someone who is pardoning, forgive, عفو, right? Be someone who is pardoning, right? خذ العفو. The second meaning is take from the people يعني of their behavior and actions and what they do. Take from them whatever they give. And don't be forceful and pressure and squeeze and corner to make them do something, right? If they are easy, they're willing to do it, then okay. Right? Do not put in a lot of pressure and force. People don't like that. Right? So these are two meanings for خذ العفو. وأمر بالعرف. Command that which is known to be good. Al-urf is what is known to be good from the Sharia and what is known to be good from the customs of the people. Right? How they deal with each other. There are things that with sound minds they can tell you're being too much or you're being too little, or right. So what is known to be good from the Islamic law and from the customs of the people who have sound intellects, right? Command that. وأعرض عن الجاهلين. Turn away from the ignorant. Yani disregard them, avoid them. Not avoid them in the sense forget them, don't give them any da'wah. That's not the meaning, right? Avoid them meaning do not treat them in the same way they treat you. They act in a foolish, ignorant behavior. Don't give them the same. If they are rude, you don't be rude. If they are not nice, don't be like that to them, right? أعرض عن الجاهلين. So do not punish them for their ill behavior. And I was looking, I found a website where you get so many translations in one place. So sometimes I like to check this just for reference, The only one translation that put between brackets here, because when you say turn away from the ignorant, what does it mean, turn away? What do you mean? Right? Turn away from them. What do you mean? Ignore them? Okay, in what sense? Do not teach them. Do not tell them that what you did is wrong or you should be behaving like this. That's not the meaning. The only one translation that put between brackets, do not punish them, meaning do not punish them. Which one do you think said that? Huh? Which translation? That I always tell you, no matter how I look, I found that one to be the best one. Right? It's the Noble Quran. Taqiyuddin al-Hilali and Muhsin Khan. Right? The only one that put between brackets, do not punish them. Because when you say turn away from the ignorant, meaning, avoid them completely, don't give them any da'wah, don't deal with them, that's not the meaning here. The meaning is do not act like they act. Do not punish them for their ignorant behavior. Rather, you be forbearing, you withstand and endure, right? طيب. So this ayah has the main foundations of the akhlaq, the character. قال أنس رضي الله عنه, Anas رضي الله عنه, this is agreed upon, Bukhari and Muslim. He is describing Sayyiduna Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said, ما مسست ديباجا ولا حريرا ألين من كف رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. I have not touched, I have not felt dibaj, thick silk, ولا حرير, nor any silk. Silk has thick, has different, thin, right? So thick or not thick, or any harir, I have not touched any silk like the hand of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the palm, kaf, the palm of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. ولا شممت رائحة قط أطيب من رائحة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. I have never smelt a smell that is better, that is more fragrant than the smell of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's talking about the smell of his body now. It's not like the perfume he puts, right? It's the natural smell and sweat is so good, so fragrant, right? Alayhi salatu wassalam. And you know that the Sahaba used to collect even his sweat. They used to collect it, and they used to use it to seek barakah from it for healing and other than that. Alayhi salatu wassalam. Even his hair, the same thing. Sulh al-Hudaybiyah, when he cut his hair, they were like, if he spits, they will run to get his spit, alayhi salatu wassalam, right? And if we have any of that today, wallahi, we will do the same, right? But the thing is, we do not have those things. And there are so many claims. Someone, he tells you he has the garment of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Someone has the hair of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Someone has the stick, or how do you know that? Where did you get this from? Right, along with the chain of imposters that are on the way. How do you know? Right. Otherwise, if we have any of that, we will do the same. We will seek the barakah of that, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is blessed in his body and his teachings. Alayhi as-salatu wassalam. He said, وَلَقَدْ خَدَمْتُ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ عَشْرَ سِنِينَ. I have served the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam 10 years. Anas was young, radiyallahu anhu. And his mom, she brought him to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. She said, that's it, this is devoted to your service. Right? So he served him 10 years. He was a young boy. Right? He said, فَمَا قَالَ لِي قَطُّ أُفٍّ. He never said to me, period. Uff. Uff is like a word to show that you're fed up, you're disgusted, or you're, uff. Right? Like we say, like never. Right? Never ever. He said that to him. وَلَا قَالَ لِشَيْءٍ فَعَلْتُهُ لِمَ فَعَلْتَهُ. He never said to anything I have done, why did you do it? وَلَا لِشَيْءٍ لَمْ أَفْعَلْهُ أَلَا فَعَلْتَ كَذَا. He never said to anything that I did not do, he never said, would you have done this or that? One narration says, وفي رواية, Anas رضي الله عنه says, وَكَانَ أَحْسَنَ النَّاسِ خُلُقًا. He was the best of the people in terms of character. One narration says even more. He says, فما أمرني بأمر ثم أتيت غيره أو ضيعته فلامني. He never ordered me to do something. He never commanded me to do something. So I did something else, or I actually did not follow, like wasted. ضيعته. I didn't, do like he said. فلامني. Even when he didn't do it, he never blamed him. عليه الصلاة والسلام. فإن لامني بعض أهله إلا فقال. If some of his family members blamed me, then except that he would say, عليه الصلاة والسلام, right? دعوه, leave him alone. فإنه لو قدر كان, أو another way to read it, لو قدر كان. Leave him. If it was destined, it would have happened, right? أو قضي أن يكون كان, the same word, or it was decreed that it would be, then it would have been happening, right? Just leave him. If Allah destined it, it would have happened. So don't, no reproach, no blaming, right? عليه الصلاة والسلام. Al-Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, he says, الدين كله خلق. The religion, all of it is character. فمن زاد عليك في الخلق زاد عليك في الدين. So the one who has more than you in character, then he has more than you in religion. It's a very heavy word here. Heavy word, very heavy statement. Right? The religion, all of it is good character. The one who is increased in character, more than you in character, he is increased. He's better than you in the religion. In the original, and this is just a side note, right? He said, and this what they call Sufism, Sufiya, right? All of it is good character. If you are going to take Sufism in the good sense, yani, not in the bad sense, right? Sufism, all of it is good character. So the one who has more character than you, he has more. This is a side note about some of the so-called Sufis, Sufi orders, right? Mysticism, who claim to, these are the lovers of Allah, this is the good character, we are the refined and, best in character. And then you see them coming out sometimes on TV, and the words they say, right? What is this? And some of them, they were called and they were recorded. And the words that came from them, you don't imagine will come from the ordinary people, right? Somebody called and asked a question and then commented after that. And then that person, big head, with the green stuff and the yellow, right? And all the, the, the ornaments from outside. He started cursing that lady. It was a lady even, right? You're supposed to be, you're a man, you're supposed, even if the lady was not nice, like you're dealing with a lady and you have to reserve yourself. Nothing of that. You started, opened up. He vomited what he has, right? And where is the character, the so-called character, right? طيب. وقد قيل إن حسن الخلق. It was said that حسن الخلق. What is حسن الخلق? He's going to give a definition now. What is good character? He said, it was said, بذل الندى, to offer the help, assistance. Nada is generosity. What is meant here is to be helpful to the people. Offer any kind of help and assistance, you give it. وكف الأذى, and to withhold yourself from harming people. This is the least you can do. This is the smallest good deed you can do. Is just stop harming others. If you cannot benefit them, don't harm them. right? كف الأذى واحتمال الأذى, he says, and also to endure, to withstand the harm that happens to you from the people. And this is how he said it here. It is mentioned from Abdullah ibn Mubarak, and Imam al-Nawawi alayhi rahmatullah, he quoted this statement from Abdullah ibn Mubarak, which is mentioned by Imam al-Tirmidhi in his Sunan. By the way, Riyadh al-Salihin, if you don't have this book in your library, or at least if you don't download it and have it as a PDF, right? Your library of real library, physical library, and PDF library is really poor. Is really, you don't have a library. You are so much lacking if you don't have Riyadh al-Salihin. And they printed it in 2 volumes, Arabic and English, and it's in all languages, Urdu, Farsi, all kinds of languages. Yani, is a wonderful book from a collection from Bukhari, Muslim, the 6 books of Hadith, and very much nicely, beautifully organized in a way that is so amazing. The topic that we're doing, Husn al-Khuluq, he has a section on it. Very nice. It starts with the ayat, 2, 3 ayat, and then the ahadith in this topic. And maybe a bit more than 2,000 hadith maybe in it. Is a wonderful book. So if you don't have it, get it and read it, inshallah. In that book, he quotes Abdullah ibn Mubarak, the prince of believers in hadith, they call him, Amir al-Mu'mineen fil hadith. He said, same like بذل المعروف وكف الأذى, to offer assistance and to withhold yourself from harming others. He said, وطلاقة الوجه, and to have a cheerful face, right? يعني طلاقة الوجه وبذل المعروف وكف الأذى. right? طيب. He said, وحسن الخلق يقوم على 4 أركان. Good character is established and it stands upon 4 pillars. 4 pillars. لا يتصور قيام ساقه إلا عليها. It cannot be imagined that حسن الخلق will stand on a pillar or on a stem or on a leg. Saq here, the word saq is a leg or a shin, but he means something to put something on it, right? Like a stand, where you have a stand, you put the mic on it. Yani the stand here, you have 4 stands for حسن الخلق. It cannot be imagined that someone will have good character and he doesn't have those. He said, إلا عليها, except on these 4. الصبر, patience. والعفة, العفة, chasteness or chastity. Where you withhold yourself from wanting and having greed to get what the people have, right? You have a chaste soul. You are reserved. You don't ask, you don't beg, you don't push and try to get from people. عفة, right? He says الشجاعة, bravery or courageousness. والعدل, and justice. فالصبر يحمله على الاحتمال. Now he's gonna base what these 4 pillars will have. Each one will have good qualities, good character, branching off of it. الصبر will lead him to be someone على الاحتمال, to endure, to withstand. وكظم الغيظ, and to suppress his anger, to swallow his anger. Patient. If you're not patient, you won't have that. وكف الأذى, and to withhold yourself from harming people. Because people do harm you. Now, if you're not patient, you're going to react. Right? والحلم, forbearance. Right? This is patience mixed with gentleness and, not being hasty, taking your time. Hilm, halim. You don't rush to punish. Right? والأناه, also slowing down, taking things slowly. You don't rush to make a judgment. والرفق, and gentleness. وعدم الطيش والعجلة, and patience will make you someone who is not going to rush to act foolishly, right? To be in haste, ajala, hasty, right? You won't be like that. That's as-sabr, patience. والعفة, this chastity or chasteness, تحمله على اجتناب الرذائل والقبائح. It will make him stay away from lowly matters and ugly, horrible matters. يعني he views himself, يعني chaste, cleaner than to fall into these things. من القول والفعل, of statements and actions, bad statements and actions. وتحمله على الحياء. It will lead him to have shyness, which we had our section on the shyness, حياء, right? And every deen has a special character, special quality. And the quality of our deen is al-haya, shyness. This is what Rasulullah ﷺ said about it. طيب. وهو رأس كل خير, he said. And shyness is the head of the chief of every goodness, is haya. وتمنعه من الفحش. It will, عفة, chasteness, it will prevent him from falling into obscene statements and actions. And some people are very, they vulgar. They don't stop. They say words very strange. Some words that are common, they say them as if there's nothing, right? Fuhsh. The one who's afif, he doesn't do that, right? والبخل, عفة, will make him someone who's not stingy. والكذب, he will not be a liar. والغيبة والنميمة, and backbiting and namima, which is spreading tales to corrupt the relations. He will be afif, someone who he will withdraw himself. He doesn't accept for himself to fall in this. Afif, chasteness. طيب. والشجاعة, courageousness, bravery, تحمله على عزة النفس, will lead him to have an honorable, mighty soul. He will not accept for himself to be low, to be humiliated, to be under. He doesn't accept because he is courageous. وإيثار معالي الأخلاق والشيم. Courageousness will lead him to prefer for himself to have the high morals and the high qualities. وعلى البذل والندى. Courageousness will lead him to offer his assistance to people, to give and to be generous, right? الذي هو شجاعة النفس وقوتها على إخراج المحبوب ومفارقته. What is generosity, right? Other than the self, the soul being brave and the soul being strong to give out what it loves, right? To give out what it doesn't want for this to depart, right? Naturally, you don't want the dollar to depart from your pocket, right? So what is generosity other than you being brave and courageous to take out this that is so beloved to you, to give it away and have it depart you, give it to someone else. Courageousness leads you to generosity. والعدل, justice and fairness, يحمله على اعتدال أخلاقه. It will lead him to have a balanced character, fairness and justice. وتوسطه فيها بين طرفي الإفراط والتفريط. It will make him have a middle course, a medium, a balance between the extreme of being too hard, too much, too excessive, and the other extreme of being too little or too low and too relaxed and lazy, right? Justice will make him take a middle path. فيحمله العدل justice, it will lead him to have خلق الجود والسخاء. It will lead him to have the character of generosity and open-handedness الذي هو توسط بين الإمساك والإسراف والتبذير. This generosity is actually the middle course between being stingy, tight-handed, and being a spendthrift, someone who wastes money, exaggerates. And so justice, adl, will balance this generosity. Right? Some people, they give out, and they waste the money. Right? And some people are tight handed. So justice will make you balanced. Also, وعلى خلق الحياء. Adl, justice, will lead you to have the character of shyness and modesty. وهو توسط بين الذل والقحة. Shyness is actually taking a middle course, a balanced position between being humiliated, accepting humiliation for yourself and being despised, and right, and the other side of al-qiha. Qiha, they don't use it much now, they use waqaha. Waqaha is being waqih, right? Waqaha is the noun, waqih is the description, the adjective. Waqaha or qiha is being rude, right? يعني bold faced. doesn't يعني, right? There are people who are too humiliated, and there are people who are too much aggressive and rude, right? Vulgar. So adl, justice, will adjust this and will give you حياء, shyness. وعلى خلق الشجاعة الذي هو توسط بين الجبن والتهور. Justice and fairness, this quality will lead him to have the character of courageousness and bravery, which is what? It is actually the middle course, the middle point, tawassut, between al-jubn, between cowardness, والتهور, being reckless, right? يعني you don't have a chance and there is no way to make it, and you're just committing suicide. You throw yourself, and maybe, but you do something and everybody else gets harmed because of you. That's not bravery. That's being reckless, right? So justice will balance this and make you have a middle course, so you become courageous between cowardness and middle point, between cowardness and recklessness. وعلى خلق الحلم. Justice, this quality, will lead him to be having the quality of forbearance. Forbearance, right? Forbearance. We said forbearance, hilm, is not to rush to punish and not to rush to act, right? الذي هو, which is حلم, forbearance, الذي هو توسط بين الغضب والمهانة وسقوط النفس. This حلم, forbearance, is a middle point, is a middle course, balance between anger, you know how you blow up and become angry, which is not good, and the other side of being lowly, and you have a soul that is despicable, يعني dropped. People don't give don't give any worth or value, right? Because he's like a nobody, right? So you have the one who gets angry for anything and everything and goes out of control with his anger, and you have the one who يعني you slap him on the face, right? Or you give him $1, is the same for him, right? You get kicked or you are given food, it's the same for him. يعني this one, he has something, and he will explain inshallah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the human being, and created qualities within him naturally. So naturally, if someone hits you, you get angry. If you don't get angry, there is something, right? You need to treat this, right? Because naturally and normally, why you're oppressing me? You don't accept oppression for yourself, right? So that's the nature there. So if you don't care whatsoever, right, there is a problem there. And the opposite is the same, right? Where you just يعني get too mad, too angry for something, right? And you go out of control, right? So you have to balance that. And the way to balance it is to have خلق العدل, justice. He said ومنشأ جميع الأخلاق الفاضلة من هذه الأربعة. The good, the virtuous traits or virtuous qualities and morals or characteristics, all of them are initiated or they stem from these four these four qualities: الصبر, patience; العفة, chasteness; الشجاعة, courageousness; and العدل, justice. Now he is going to talk about where the bad and low qualities stem from, right? And there are also four of them, right? He says al-jahl, ignorance; wal-dhulm, oppression; wal-shahwa, desire or lust; wal-ghadab, and anger. These are the four main qualities that will produce all of the other evil characters, right? Or characteristics, right? Morals. He says each one of them, he will talk about it, each one of them leads to or begets different qualities, evil qualities. And he said, and if two of them get married, they will now produce right, it will be يعني an atomic bomb, right? It will produce so many evil qualities, right? If two of them they get together and يعني someone has both يعني ignorance and anger together. Allahu Akbar. Now, one by itself is enough. So if two of them gather together, now so many evil things will happen, right? Or will come from that person. So we will stop here as there is 5 minutes left to the Salah. Tomorrow we'll continue with the other four, right? The other four pillars of evil qualities. So he will talk about that, and then he will talk about the way to refine the character. Subul tahdhib al-akhlaq. The way or the ways to refine and to better the character. Right? That's the next topic, inshallah ta'ala. And he beautifully talk about that. Then after this, he will talk about when you get harmed by people, when the people harm you, which is one of the main things to have a good character. When people harm you, what are you supposed to be thinking? How are you supposed to look at this? Right? In a way that will lead to you having good character, right? Because that's what happens. Yeah, people attack you, people stab you, people instigate you, right? What are you? How are you supposed to deal with those things? And what are you supposed to focus on so that you will end up dealing with those situations with husnul khuluq, right? Husnul khuluq, good character. And if you go to that section in Riyadh al-Salihin, you will see the beautiful reward of husnul khuluq, right? يعني subhanallah, يعني it's the heaviest thing on the scale is husnul khuluq, is good character. So when someone hears this and he says he wants to go to paradise, he wants his scales on the balance to be full to the top, so heavy so that he will enter paradise. But then you tell them, Ya akhi, forgiveness is from good quality, good character. Right? Ya akhi, be nice. Don't torture the people. Don't push them like that. Don't be rude to the. And then he doesn't matter to him, and he thinks he's on the haqq and he's on the right. He's tough, right? I mean, you want paradise? That's the heaviest thing on the scale. And if you truly want paradise, you wouldn't behave like that, or at least you will admit that you have a problem and you will try to fix it. So if you are reminded, you will remember, as the believers are supposed to do that. But when you see that this person is just one way and this is right, and this one tells him, "Ya akhi, slow down, you're too forward." The other one tells him, "Yani, take it easy, don't do this to the." The other one, he's still insisting, right, on going his way. It shows that he doesn't really care about paradise. If he does, then he would have cared about this, right? Good character. Allah knows best. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.